Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, as you've seen, before I get into the video, actually, smash the like button, guys. Let's smash that like button. Just hit the subscribe button. Share my videos. I really appreciate the support. As always, as you guys know, all that good stuff. Um, Smash that like button. Yeah, so let's get straight into it. I want to talk about Keith Thurman and Terence Crawford. Keith Thurman has called out Terence Crawford for a showdown in the summer. It looks like Keith Thurman might be making his way back to the ring. Maybe he's looking to come back, and he said he's at the top of the welterweight division. I don't know how Keith Thurman, after being out of the ring for almost 2.5 years, can say he's at the top of the welterweight division. But, you know, if he feels he's got the hunger back, he wants to get back, fair enough. But to say he's at the top of the welterweight division is very delusional, because he's not. He's still a name. And the reason why he's a name is because, you know, his last fight against Manny Pacquiao, he put in a good performance. But then Manny Pacquiao, you know, just recently lost to Ugas, which, you know, kind of makes Keith Thurman look bad. And actually shows that Keith Thurman, you know, I personally think is past his best. And I think he's never been the same after the Garcia fight. I think he got injured and he wasn't the same guy. So to be honest with you, I don't really know what Keith Thurman has left. I know he's looking for a fight with Terence Crawford, but again, I just don't know what Keith Thurman has left, and I don't know what his motivation is. Is he talking a good game on camera, or is it just a case where he wants to come back for a few quid? I don't know. I don't know. Only he knows what's going through his head, you know. But I think Thurman is a good fighter. I really rated Thurman back in the day, you know, when Thurman was Keith one-time Thurman. Thurman was definitely at the top of the welterweight division, and he was seen as a legitimate threat for everybody. You know, you could put him in with Spence, and, you know, that would be a very 50-50 fight. Put him in with Crawford, that's a 50-50 fight. However, let's fast forward a couple of years. Keith Thurman hasn't been in the ring. He's been very inactive. You know, his last two performances have been poor. You know, he lost to Pacquiao. He got beat by Josecito Lopez. He just about scraped a win against Josecito Lopez, which was seen as a warm-up fight. You know, and now he's talking about a fight with Terence Crawford. I've just got to be honest with you. If Terence Crawford fights Keith Thurman, no matter when he fights him, I'm picking Terence Crawford by stoppage. The fight will still have a bit of intrigue because Keith Thurman is a much bigger puncher than Sean Porter. He's, for me, a better boxer than Sean Porter. He's also taller than Sean Porter. But does he have the toughness? Because Keith Thurman, as we know, around the midsection is very vulnerable. And the thing is with Terence Crawford, those uppercuts to the body are very dangerous. And Keith Thurman has shown a bit of a soft spot, you know, in his body area. So, you know, and someone like Crawford, I think the guys that have hurt Keith Thurman to the body haven't managed to finish him off. I think Crawford has got killer instincts. And it's not good to say killer instincts in boxing because we know the brutality in the sport. But what I mean by that, when I say killer instinct, I mean when he's got you hurt, he goes in looking to finish you off. He's a great finisher. And I just don't think if Keith Thurman gets hurt in a fight against Terence Crawford, that Crawford would let him off the hook. I just think right now, Terence Crawford, the way he's fighting, I just think he'll be too much for Keith Thurman. And personally, I would favor him to stop Keith Thurman, even knock him out, to be honest with you. Look, he stopped Porter. You know, and Porter, for me, is a lot tougher, got more of a chin. Keith Thurman's a better boxer, and he punches harder. So Crawford has to be careful that he doesn't get caught with one of the big right hands or, you know, left hooks, because Keith Thurman can really punch. The only problem is I don't know what confidence levels Keith Thurman will have. I don't know whether he could take a punch now. You know, will he be the same fighter? You know, he's been out of the ring a long time, and that's never good. That's never a good sign. And Keith Thurman's been out of the ring due to injury. You know, he's not a guy that's been out of the ring because, You know, he wanted to be out the ring. He's been out the ring because he's been injured and he's been suffering a lot of injuries throughout his career. Like I said, I think after the Danny Garcia fight, Keith Thurman just wasn't the same fighter. He just wasn't the same fighter. I don't know. Maybe he got injured, and the elbow injury led to one thing to another. But yeah, Keith Thurman, after he came back from that win against Garcia, and he had that long layoff, he's just not been the same guy. And which is sad, because like I said, I thought that was the time for Keith Thurman to kick on and create a legacy. Unfortunately, Keith Thurman's not been able to do that. His career has been held back by injuries, inactivity. So yeah, he's made a lot of money. He's a very wealthy guy, and obviously he still has a lot of he still has name. There's still some commercial aspect there with anyone that's at the top of the welterweight division to fight Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman still has a name. And if you look at it, the Pacquiao performance wasn't bad. He lost a split decision, which doesn't look that bad. So he still holds some clout, as we would say, in the welterweight division, because he's not like, whereas Porter now, he's exhausted all his options. He's on the way out. Same with Khan, Brook. These guys have had their day and they've exhausted their chances, and they're on the way out. Keith Thurman has only got one loss. Keith Thurman's name can still be sold because he hasn't had multiple losses. He hasn't fought all of the guys yet. There's still a lot of fun fights to be made with Keith Thurman, whereas someone like Sean Porter has fought everybody. That's why I think Sean Porter is content, and the reason why Sean Porter has retired, because Sean Porter's looking at himself and said, I've fought every top welterweight in this era. There's nothing else for me to do. He's not going to go to 154. He's too small. You know, he's too small. So he's probably thought, I fought everybody. There's no one left for me to fight. Who is there left for Porter to fight? Nobody. There isn't anybody for Porter to fight. So Porter's thinking, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? You know, he's had his day in the sun. He's fought everybody. He's won some. He's lost some. You know, and he's thought, I've had a great career. I've made a lot of money. It's time for me to. You know, go out. It's time for me to retire. And the thing is with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman probably still feels that there's fights out there for him, and there are fights out there for him. There's Errol Spence fight. There's a Ugas fight. There's a Terence Crawford fight. Now Porter's fought all of those guys. There's still fights out there for Keith Thurman. Now, this might sound crazy, but a potential winner of the Khan Brook fight might be a potential opponent for Keith Thurman. Because what you've got to understand, Keith Thurman, he's talking like he wants to fight these top guys because he knows he'll get a good payday. But would Keith Thurman also be interested in a fight with the winner of Khan Brook? Because that would be a big payday, because both those guys have good names. And the winner of that fight may get one last chance out of Keith Thurman, or maybe Keith Thurman just wants to go straight to the top against Crawford. I think the reason why Keith Thurman now would be interested in Crawford, firstly, he looks at it and Crawford has proven himself by beating Porter. Also, Crawford holds a world title, which Thurman hasn't held for a while. So Thurman's looking at it and thinking to himself that Crawford's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. I'm nowhere right now in terms of where I'm at. Why not go after Terence Crawford and potentially get a big payday, a chance to become great again if he pulls it off, which would be a massive upset, and an opportunity of a lifetime for Keith Thurman. So Keith Thurman's being smart. Keith Thurman knows that it will be a big payday. It's a chance to fight the best, because he knows that the Errol Spence fight isn't there for him. He knows that Errol Spence is not interested in a fight. So if Keith Thurman and if Errol Spence and Crawford don't get it on, which is the fight that everybody really wants to see, but it doesn't look like those two are gonna, fight anytime soon. Errol Spence has said I think I've heard something about 80-20, or I don't know if this is true. I saw a post on Facebook. It's probably not true, but with the poor pay-per-view numbers that I think they say they did 190,000 pay-per-views. Errol Spence they may not be able to come to terms, even if Crawford now is a free agent. So the more realistic fight becomes Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman, which would probably be the biggest fight outside of Crawford and Spence. That's probably the biggest fight in the welterweight division, because Keith Thurman for me is a bigger name than Sean Porter, and he holds a win over Sean Porter. So I feel like Terence Crawford always wanted to fight Keith Thurman, and he even said before the Porter fight that I feel that I want to fight Thurman more because that's a bigger fight than the Sean Porter fight, and he's right. Keith Thurman is a bigger fight. He's beaten Porter, and Keith Thurman's got a bigger name. And Thurman also, at one point in the welterweight division, was seen as the man. So I think that would be a great fight. Although I would favor Crawford by knockout, I do think that fight presents a lot more of a threat than Porter, because Keith Thurman can punch and punch really hard. I remember him hitting Danny Garcia with a solid right hand, and I don't know how Danny Garcia didn't go down or get knocked out by that punch. I don't know how he took that punch. Now, if that punch was to hit Terence Crawford, Crawford may be in trouble, because I don't think Crawford's got the same chin as Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, as we all know, has got a granite chin. Crawford, I'm not so sure. So that would definitely be interesting for me, that fight. Intriguing, although I picked Crawford by stoppage. I definitely think that it's not as easy as fight as some may think. But like I said, I do favor Crawford massively. But I would love to know your guys' opinion. I'd love to know your guys' opinion on what you guys think about that fight. Are you interested in it? Do you think it's too late? Do you think Keith Thurman's days are done? Do you think Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman's a great fight? Who do you think wins that fight? Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.